That's what
Yep.
it's all about with Clarissa Yvonne. Always remember. Oh, there's my intro. Looks like it's in slow motion though.
Woo! We feeling so much good.
Welcome home to the Clarissa Yvonne Show, everybody. Here's your girl, Clarissa Yvonne. And of course, we have I'm your host of the Clarissa Yvonne Show. And I have to tell you, I'm not good with this home stuff. So, anyway, I am literally sitting in the living room. And of course, we have our co host from Detroit Hot Radio, Andrea Elby.
Hey everyone. Hey.
There she is. There she is.
How you doing? How you doing, everybody?
All
we're,
right.
we're back. We're back on the Clarissa Yvonne Show. You want to introduce our guest, or should I introduce our guest?
I'm so excited. I'm gonna let you do it because it may come out something totally wrong. So I'm gonna let you do it because I'm so excited to have him. We tried to get him last week. We have some technical difficulties, so I'm trying to save the excitement for the rest of the show. So you go ahead and introduce.
Well, I mean, everyone in Detroit know who this guy is. This is Rob Carter. I like to let everyone know he's not just a local person. You know, he's internationally known, all over the world, and that's how he do. I mean, I was like, who is this person? And when I heard him sing one particular song of one artist, that's all I need to know. And I got it, and I understand why he's internationally known. But
Hush.
it is. Look, we had a long conversation, and I told you need to tell your story. You want something? Oh, my family know. I said no, but the world don't know.
It sure don't.
The world needs to know who this guy is. So.
Go ahead.
And our next wonderful guest, I had the pleasure of spending Valentine's weekend with. I was just so excited. I just did not know what to do with myself.
But you don't have to go to Clarissa.
Oh, okay.
You're right. You see her face. That's how Clarissa is. She's that type of person. No, I was doing an interview at Lavel. He invited me down to the Fox, and this Lavel Jackson.
Hi, Lavel.
Hey, how y'all doing? Great to
We
be
doing
here.
Okay. I'm doing okay.
Awesome.
So we can start with some questions with Lavel. Lavel is with the Dramatics. He's also what is I want to know what is this thing with the Detroit Emeralds?
Well, who are the Detroit Emeralds? Wow, that's a great question. But out of Detroit, you should know who the Detroit Emeralds.
Look, maybe before my time.
Okay.
My mom. That's doing my mother's.
No, you wouldn't know that.
No, yeah, I wouldn't know that.
No, you wouldn't know the Detroit Emeralds. Well, I actually had to research the Detroit Emeralds myself when I was approached to work with them. But the Detroit Emeralds are a group out of, I think they originate out of Mississippi, but they, became the Detroit Emeralds. They've had hit records, Feel the Need, Do Me Right, You Want It, You Got It. Wow, Baby, Let Me Take You, which is an international movie. They had a few hits, but I've been working with them for about a year now, and it's been awesome. I'm able to write. We got a new single called "Call Me I'm Ready," which I co-wrote with one of the other members, Mr. Devine Lomax. And I guess it's just like anything else you don't know. You can just Google the name, and all that wonderful information is going to come up. And then because I was like the Detroit Emeralds, I actually had to Google myself, and was really familiar with a lot of the songs. I didn't really know them, but
They were.
Yeah, and I started hearing the songs, and I was like, okay, yeah, I remember. Because I'm like you. My brothers and my sisters. I have a generation older than me. Like Robert does. and my brothers and sisters listen to music all the time. I mean, so of course, being in a household where there was music playing, I heard all of those songs, and so I became familiar with them. And then I was thinking to myself, like, wow, I remember this, I remember this, I remember that. And so just to be able to work with them now is just an honor. Mr. James Mitchell, the last surviving member of the Detroit Emeralds, he's blessed us to do this, and he's actually a big part of what we do when we rehearse and everything. And he's actually the writer of "Float On" by the Floaters. He wrote the song.
Yes, great.
Classic.
Touch on that.
Classic.
Yeah. So not only are we doing the Detroit Emeralds, we're also doing the Floaters hit record, "Float On" the show, because James was the writer of that. So so that's that's kind of like my story with the Detroit Emeralds. It's an awesome experience, but legacy groups, you get to learn a lot.
Get involved.
I was doing some studio singing for a friend of mine, Devine Lomax, the drummer for the Dramatics. He writes, and he produces. And he asked me to sing a demo for him, and it turned out that they were they liked the way my voice was, and they were actually trying to put together the drum, put them back together somehow. I don't know how they thought about it at length, but when he heard me sing and he heard me do the demo, I did it well enough where he asked me would I be interested. Of course, I was in the Dramatics at the time, and you can't be in two groups like that, so I was kind of able to work with both of them for a small period of time. But now I'm exclusively with the Detroit Emeralds. I think when we met, that was my last weekend with the Dramatics. We did the weekend in Detroit and Chicago.
That was in February.
Yeah, so it was been a great experience on both sides. The Dramatics, especially, they are one of the legacy groups.
Yes.
That's great.
Yes.
But I kind of wanted to have a little more freedom in what I do, my scheduling and things, and the Detroit Emeralds actually give me that opportunity, whereas the Dramatics was more of a
LJ.
You don't say
Sorry, I
nothing.
just had to put it out there.
No, it was just to make a long story short, it was just afforded me some opportunities that I wouldn't have with the Dramatics. And actually writing and being a lead vocalist. With the Dramatics, I'm just a background singer, and I figure I'm better than that. I just not trying to boast or brag, but it's just I felt like I had more to offer, and I felt like from a lot of different perspectives, monetary wise and creativity wise, and just overall getting people know my name. It was just a better opportunity. The Dramatics is awesome. Probably one of the greatest 5-piece groups of all time.
Yeah.
But to do it now, it's just wasn't really a situation that I wanted to be a part of any longer. So the Emeralds kind of came up, and I went for it. And this
so you're leaving the Dramatics for them, or are you going to do both?
No, I'm just going to do the Detroit Emeralds. I'm kind of like if the Dramatics were to call me and they needed me, and if I was able to do it, of course I'll do it. Because I don't want to leave anybody hanging. I didn't want to leave hanging. I know what it takes to get a singer to work again with vocals and steps and choreography and all that, clothing, and so it takes a lot. So I was really, I felt kind of bad. I had to do it when I did it, but I'm at a point I have to look out for myself. I think this industry is set up where you have to look out for yourself, because I could get a call any day and he can say, "Hey man, we shutting it down. We're not working anymore." That could just happen for me. And what can I do? So you have to take opportunities and pass on opportunities and leave opportunities. But the bottom line, you have to do what's best for you. and I feel like the Detroit Images offer more opportunity for me to exposure, just being creative, and,
So did that leave room? I mean, because I understand that you are also a solo artist, so that do leave you more room to focus just on you as well as the group.
Yeah, that was another thing too. That the person you mentioned earlier, didn't feel like he wanted the singers to do solo projects. I was doing that before I started singing with the Dramatics. So I figured like, I wasn't going to let him take that part of what I do. I mean, because I love singing, I love doing gospel projects, I love doing, a few R&B projects here and there, but to tell me that I can't do solo projects, I can't do I don't want you to do shows and things. I just felt like that just wasn't where I wanted to go. And
that's not the first time I've heard that.
When you have a passion for something, you are never going to compromise your passion for a demand. And sometimes that's a hard decision for all of us to make.
It's really about just going somewhere where you feel valued, where you feel like your worth is being appreciated.
Appreciated, right.
And so that was kind of where I was. I've done it for 4 years. I felt like I gave it all I could do, all I could do. I explained that, like in 5 years from now, had I, stayed with the Dramatics, if they were still performing, what I'm doing now is what I'll be doing 5 years from now. There's no next level for me.
Right.
I'm not going to, what I'm doing now is what I would have been doing. And they're members in the Dramatics, 10 years, 30 years, 35, 40 years, and they're still on that same level. I mean, I hate to say it, but that's just where it is.
They peaked.
I just can't. I still have a lot to give, and I want to just be able to do it. And
nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. It sounds like it was a refreshing decision for you to make.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, one of your favorite fans want to say that he tell you that he's listening. And it was so kind of funny because we had just did a show at the museum, the music hall, and I was like, okay, who is this person trying to get in touch with me to do an interview with? And I'm like, I know a lot of people are beginning to know who I am, and it was just kind of funny. And he said, oh no, we know that one person in particular. His name is Al Lindsay, and I was like, oh wow.
So, that's my brother.
Yeah. So he says hello.
Hey, tell him I said what's up. Hey, that's my dog. What's up, Al? My man.
He's listening.
Hi, Al.
Yeah, we got some stuff we're gonna be doing, but yeah, so man, it's almost kind of emotional talking about it, but because it's really been like in terms of music, my musical thing, the biggest thing that I've been a part of. The people that I've met, the shows that we've done, the connections that I've made. I mean, I probably wouldn't have done that without being a part of the Dramatics, but I figured, things have to be a stepping stone for something next and bigger.
Absolutely.
Right.
I never looked at it as that was it for me, because the way those legacy groups are, they're just plug and play. Some guy leave, the next guy come in. That's just the way they are. I mean, and I'm just going to throw this out there too, because while I was in the group, I couldn't use the name. I couldn't say Lavel Jackson of the Dramatics. That was set together because I've had shows where the promoter would say, hey, we got Lavel Jackson of the Dramatics, and he would, have the promoter take that down, So I'm like, am I in the group or not? So if I'm not in the group, then
I heard of that.
I can't use the name, then I'm not really in the group. So, so, and then he said, if I left, I couldn't use the name. I said, I don't have an issue with using the name. If a promoter or somebody decides that that's what they want to do, that's what they do. But I guess he was saying like I couldn't say on a record like Lavel Jackson, formerly other Jermaine, which that's corny anyway. I wouldn't have done that. You know, I think that the legacy dramatics are gone. You know, there's one left. He's still there, still a legend. But the legacy dramatics were gone. I felt like I was really struggling because I had to perform, and you know, I had to sing like the legacy dramatics. You know, I'm like, there was no way I couldn't be myself. You know, but it still was an awesome experience. Would I do it again? Probably not. But
why you laughing, Rob?
You know, I wouldn't do it as, you know, when somebody say, man, would you be a member? You know, if you need me to sing and help out, yeah. If you couldn't find nobody back, but just to say, man, be in the group, I just wouldn't do it. It was just too much. For me, I don't know. I've never been a part of anything like that, so maybe that's just the way it is. I thought maybe I said, well, is this the way it is with all these groups?
No, no.
Okay.
Wow.
But you mentioned that you do gospel,
Wow.
and I was looking at one of the titles of this a video that you sent us called "Old Days." Is that a gospel song? If we can talk about what is this music that you have? Like you wrote it some time ago.
Well, the Old Days song, was a song that I wrote, just me reminiscing about when I grew up. I grew up in Saginaw, Michigan, and we grew up in this area, they called it the projects. And I just
we
remember,
don't have those.
Yeah. And so I just remember growing up, and it just seemed like it was a happier time. I don't know why, it just felt like it was. It felt like, even though, because I didn't really look at us as being poor. I knew we were as I got older, but the memories that I have, I don't recall us being poor or rich or whatever. I just knew that we were just a big family. We had friends in the neighborhood.
You were happy.
Yeah, it was more of a communal environment. You know, everybody knew each other. We looked out for each other. And there was, my mom used to make ice cream, and all the kids from the neighborhood used to come and eat ice cream. And my dad used to pay money for make us do dance competitions. And I say in the song, he gave dollars to the best dancer. I said that because it rhymed, but he really gave quarters. And but I didn't want him to sound cheap. But so
that was
and buy some now later with a quarter.
Yeah,
that
so,
was time. Quarters bought something then.
Yeah. He gave quarters, dimes, and nickels. But I say in the song he gave dollars. But that's what he used to do. That he used to give money to the best dancer, and my mom used to make ice cream. We were just all happy, you know, the family. So the Old Days song is not, to me, necessarily a gospel song or it's just a.
Well, let's give the audience a listen to a clipping of it and let them hear it. So we're gonna go ahead and share that with our audience so they can take a listen to it.
All right.
So just give us one moment here, you guys, and take a look.
having good friends. Only 3 stations on TV: NBC, CBS, and ABC. Didn't have much, but we had each other. Much love, respect for one another. Didn't have Nike, South Pole, or FUBU. Thrift stores and came out, that's how we used to do. Roman sales, garage sales, hand-me-downs, and yard sales. Soul Train and Afro, diamond in the back on the stereo. That's how it used to be in the old days. Somebody help me sing it. Yeah, oh yeah. Garage sales. Oh, life was about good friends, yeah. Afro, oh, in the sunroof top, digging it too, yeah. Oh, hand me down, Afro. Ribs don't burn in the kitchen, beans don't fry on the grill. It took a whole lot of trying just to get up that hill. Now we're up in the big league, getting our turn at time. As long as we live, ain't nothing but the old days. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Moving on every year.
That was just.
You know
No,
what? That needs to be a back in the day anthem for every black movie that is ever made. Any commercial, I love those lyrics. That's our roots,
Thank you.
especially Soul Train and Afros.
Yeah, diamond
What?
in the back.
Back.
Yeah.
I love that.
Thank
That
you.
was a great performance.
Thank you.
Andrea, did you have any questions? I wanted to go in on the elephant in the room, of course. Like, how are you dealing with the virus? How are you working around it mentally and physically?
Oh, wow, great question. Well, not only do I perform with the dramatics and emeralds, I'm also a teacher.
Mm.
So, of course, our schools have been shut down, and so I've been home. But as far as the pandemic itself, just I'm abiding to the stay home order. I wear my mask when I go out, and I'm trying to really just keep my frame of mind. I've always been an upbeat person, so I'm not letting this get me down because I know there's going to be some better days ahead. I'm just looking forward to getting back out and performing again, and just hanging like we used to do. But
Yeah.
That's the thing. So you're not. Does it concern you that live performances may be less than what it was before? How do you feel about that?
That's part of my livelihood. So of course there's concerns, but I don't put anything above being safe and healthy.
Right.
So
Right.
if we have to shut it down just for a minute, then that's what we have to do. But I guess I can say that because I have my backup career, which is my teaching. But which really I will see how this affects me in the summer, because that's where when I'm not working is in the summer. But honestly,
this too shall pass.
I believe so. I believe it will. I think that we just gotta bear down the hatches. What they say. I'm not all. We just have to hang in there and.
That's right.
And do what they tell us to do. As long as it's for the health safety of the country. I've been hearing a lot of different. Now I think because I just heard that our president wants us to start having church services because. He's saying church is essential now. You wait 3 months and now you say church is essential. But I don't think a lot of people are going to just flock back to churches. I just don't feel like it. I don't think that. I don't think it's a good thing. But honestly, I I think we just gotta wait it out and
See what happens.
know and just know we're gonna get through it. Believe we're gonna get through it, and that's what I'm believing.
I say this is a perfect time for everyone to be more creative.
Right.
We have nothing but time on our hands now. So have you been writing anything new? I saw that you are soulful, seductive, and sexy music that you put out, which is interesting. So have you been doing any writing since you've been in the house?
Oh yes, yeah. I'm actually I just released a project called Lavel Jackson 2020, which is a 9-song R&B project. Was doing really well overseas in the UK, and I actually was number one. The album was number one, and I had a couple singles that was really well on those soul global charts over there. It's kind of difficult when you can't get out and promote it physically, but so that's what's really hurting. But as far as success wise, it's been doing really well. But I have been writing. I have a play or a movie that I'm gonna submit to a friend of mine, and hopefully I've written the soundtrack for it already. So that kind of helped me out being off. Was able to be home and record some songs for that. I already got it finished, but
Wow.
working on my next gospel CD. I'm not probably. I really want to write for other individuals. That's kind of why I only record my songs, because I don't have anybody else to do them. I'm not that great songwriter like a Diane Warren, who everybody want her to write for them. I wish I could, but so I end up writing these songs and recording them because I have my own studio. So I end up writing and then recording them, and then next thing you know, they're sitting around for years, and I'm saying, man, I need to just put it out.
Gotcha. Yep.
And so but I have some conversations with a few artists out there. I don't want to mention any names, but I write for the Detroit Emeralds, which is great. I would have loved to have written some songs for the Dramatics, but that anyway. But so there are artists that we run into, that we did shows that we run into on the road, and I submit material. So who knows, something may come up, but if not, then you'll see another project on me. But
I can't wait. That sounds so exciting.
Right.
And I'm so glad that people have not given up, especially in this dark time that we're in. I talk to some people and be like, oh, forget it. We don't know when we're going to be over with this, but it will be over. It will be over, and we'll be back bigger and better than ever. So that's what we have to keep in mind and encourage each other to believe.
Right. I think the main thing is you can't let yourself get depressed or too down.
No.
You got to, there are things that you could do. You have to find something that you love to do. And then you have to create some things around that. Yes. Whatever it is, if you love to plant flowers, if you love to take pictures, if you love to dance, because now they have people are making videos of themselves at home, just doing bizarre things.
Yeah.
And so you have to kind of recreate whatever it is, and but you can't let yourself get to a point where you get depressed and you get into a funk, and then that just that's not healthy either. So but you gotta stay excited about something. God has woke you up, so you gotta be excited. If you can't, just that.
That's all we need.
Because you should be excited. I'm up, man. I gotta do something. So but I understand that depression is real, and so you gotta if you know somebody, reach out to them, talk to them on the phone, FaceTime or whatever, but do something, but personally, I believe it's going to pass, and I'm going to stand, after you've done all you can.
So I want to know, what do Rob do when he's not working during this pandemic?
Who, me?
You're the only Rob here. We got another Rob. I don't see another Rob.
Yeah, I got I got a couple brothers, so we're always creating, and when we're not creating, we still hang out. My brothers are my best friends also.
Good.
So and being that we're in the music field, we totally gel. They have they show me a lot of things that I didn't know, and I'm the older brother.
Mm.
And between that and trying to go fishing, I still get my fishing on. I stay happy, I still get around, but I just don't get out the car, I pretty much, but I haven't really stayed home all that much, so I haven't really had a chance to really get depressed. I was only depressed the first week when I found out they canceled all my shows.
Right.
Right.
I was freaking suicidal that week because it was one. They could cancel all the rest of them, but there was one gig I've been working on for 10 years to get with it, and I finally got it, and they canceled me out.
And now this happens.
Yeah, I can tell you the gig. It's called the Coachella. You ever heard of it?
Oh,
Yeah.
Wow.
I got the Coachella after 10 years. I was like, and they canceled me. I wanted to blow my brains out. It's a really good gig. It was a chance for me to bring my cast from Detroit out, David Lee from Earl Clue, all the cast, that I really, really like working with. It was a chance for me to get them all together. We was just lining up rehearsal, so we could do this. And they canceled the show. What they did was they moved the show up, the Coachella, but they cut out more than a third of the acts.
Mm.
So, and I didn't make the cut. So I was like, I was kind of bummed. But other than that week, I've been happy-go-lucky. I really, I'm not, I'm older and I figured out, how I've gotten my chips together, so I really, that's not a heavy concern anymore. But working is, I've always done a lot of shows, and when I'm not working, I get a little bummed,
Right.
These days I do probably a little bit more studio time than I usually do, but I just try to figure out things that make me happy. Usually it's hanging out with my kids, or my brothers, or in the studio, because the studios are still open, quiet as it's kept, so
right.
So that keeps me happy.
What I find a mystery about Rob is there's not much information out there about him. So I, because of the pandemic, and I know who he is, I figured, hey, I've called a couple other guys. You're like, let me check on you guys and see how y'all are doing. And we got to talking, and he's got to tell me his history, and I'm like, who really are you? I'm like, who are you? I've heard you perform, and I'm like, I could not ever really find anything. I Google everybody. So yes, I Googled you, and I'm like, there's nothing out here. I see, now I'm gonna put it out there. I see six, that's less than 2 hands, 6 credits for Rob Carter. I won't say his full name, because when I did say his full name, he was like, how did you know my full name?
Well,
this is the thing. When you tell me something, I do not forget. And he happened to tell me his full name. So yeah. So be careful what you
was
tell.
I smoking that day?
Yeah. So I'm like, you have 2 vocals, 1 instrument and performance, 2 writing and arrangements, and 1 featuring presenting. And I got to looking, and you mentioned you guys would not believe a song that we all should know. And I was like, I cannot believe this is this guy here. He was. I mean, were you the leader? Were you the band leader? I don't know, because I know you were lead on the song.
I was one or two lead singers for a particular project, but the brother kind of touched on it. Well, with Nature's Divine, it was a total project where we had a band leader, but it was more like a guidance thing. You know, the guys in the direction. It was a team effort. Everybody contributed equally, and I have never seen such a correct chemistry with any band of that size. You know, we were totally all on the same page. But normally, like he said, I worked for different groups, but I did what they told me to do. I didn't. I worked for David Ruffin, Eddie Kendricks. I was a background singer, and then when David was a no-show, I came up in front and took his spot. You know, so I worked for him for a while. But those groups like that, and Enchantment, and Temptations and stuff like that, these are vocal groups that they've already had their hits, they hit their peak, and I'm just filling that void, that spot that they need. You know, I don't get to be I don't get to do any artistic endeavors. You know, I'm just doing the steps and doing the harmony, and you know, get in where you fit in. You know, like you were talking about, you don't get to do your stuff. You know, I didn't get to do my stuff, but with Nature's Divine, we did all our stuff. We did everything we wanted to do. Everybody contributed. If you had a song and it sounded like anything, we worked on it and made it sound even better. You know, the group itself was outstanding. I have never been with a better act.
So what happened?
Money. We got a record deal. A really large one that was global, and got ripped off on the tour support, you know, that kind of stuff. I'm just starting to get into that, collecting that kind of money. So but we got taken to the cleaners because we were real savvy at clubs and concerts and college, you know, doing the gigs, but we knew nothing about the record industry. You know, we thought we did. We thought we knew a little bit, but we really didn't know nothing. And we got taken to the cleaners, like many other Detroit artists. You know, and I could start naming names. Enchantment for one. Matter of fact, Enchantment and Nature's Divine were with the same production company at one point. You know, I work with EJ and them, and I still talk to EJ, and I just talked to David Banks of Enchantment just yesterday, and we still talk. In the past I've worked with David Brown, Carlos Santana when I was living out in Los Angeles. I was working for them. Then I've worked for a lot of Indonesian groups. I worked for a lot of Japanese groups, and a few cats in London when I was there. But it's always their project, you know. I'm just every once in a while to give me a little input, you know, so I can get a little royalties off of it. But it's really their project. You know, like he was talking about the Detroit Emeralds. Yeah, when you join those kind of groups, you know, it's their group. You know, you're doing what they tell you to do, and you don't get to stretch out and do your stuff, especially when you're younger. You know, it's really being a singer or being a musician is an artistic endeavor. You know, it's like painting. You know, Picasso, he would paint his own stuff, but every once in a while he had to do a sign to make some money. You know, Coca-Cola. You know, you know.
It's the same story with a lot of people. It's the same story. But Andrea, when she was telling me about you, she said, I want you to hear the song. I know you know it. And I was like, okay. And she sent me the link to your song, and I went absolutely stupid when I heard that song, because I remember that song playing. My mother had, I ain't gonna say what year, but my mother had a Thunderbird back when them Thunderbirds had the burnt orange top, soft top, and the navy blue bottom. My mother had one of those, and that's
79.
I can't control myself. That song played on the radio all the time, and I loved it. And when I heard that, I was like, "You got to be kidding me!" I haven't heard that song in years, and that was one of those one of those soulful, wrenching songs that all of us will never forget.
Yeah, that's my only gold single.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, I want our audience to get to hear it before our time run out, and then we will move on to something else. So everyone, take a listen. You will remember this song. Trust me.
You will.
Yes.
Control myself. I just can't control myself. I want you. I want you. When I first looked in your eyes, I found I was quite surprised. Your eyes held a magic glow. I could feel my love vibe flow. I could feel it flow. I just felt so good inside. Fixed emotions I couldn't hide. Just couldn't hide. Oh, mystic lady, can't you see? You were all the dreams I dreamed. I just wanna say that I just can't control myself. I just can't control myself, and I want you. I want you, baby. I just can't control myself. I just can't control myself. I want you. I want you. You know that I do. My heart has wings. Control myself. I just can't control myself. I want you. I want you, baby. I just can't control myself. I just can't control myself. I just can't control myself.
Now, I just got one question. Is that Sheila Everett Hale?
Uh-huh.
I never noticed it.
I didn't notice that
No,
either.
wait a minute. Don't get it twisted. That's not Sheila doing vocals.
No, I know that.
That's her hairstyle.
Yeah, Sheila was doing my hair back in those days. She was like
Okay.
she was the #1 braider for the state. They was laying hair like
Yes,
40
she
going
was.
north.
Mm-hmm.
She was all that. And she was doing my hair, and I was doing shows for her, modeling her hair, for her hair shows. So I was doing that on the side. And Sheila was my girlfriend at that time.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Get out.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Do you still talk to her?
Huh?
Do you still talk to her?
Yeah, we cool. We real cool.
Yeah, we all know each other.
Can I get a discount on some braids?
Huh?
Get a discount on some braids.
I let the braids
Can
go.
you talk to her? Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, we talk, and her husband, Philip, is like a monster piano player.
Yes, he is.
He's monster.
Wow.
And our birthday is the same day.
Wow.
Oh my God. Oh wow.
Both of us are February 12th. Yeah, he's one of the best keyboard players in the Detroit area.
Yes.
You learn something new every day. I had no idea, but I definitely know her work. That's
so Robert,
sure.
did the band stay that large, or did you ever downsize? Like a lot of bands did. Cameo did it at one point.
Yeah, our band was too tight for that. We had we were carrying 10 people recording wise, but we carried 15, 16 people on the road,
right,
including the horn section and a percussionist. We had a super percussionist he's been with Santana now for quite a few years, but we had him, and our show was it was awesome, but we needed all those people in order to pull it off like we wanted to pull it off.
I'm saying, how some of the bands, they start off when you see 13 people, but then as they get going, or they release more records, then all of a sudden you see 3 people or 4 people.
We didn't dial down.
You stayed.
Unless you died, you would still stay with the group.
Good.
It was that we were that tight. The chemistry was that tight.
You don't hear that often with groups at all.
No, they were just like everybody, great bunch of people, horn section, Chazzy Green, who's Ray Parker now, and O'Pelton Parker, who is our other sax player. That's Ray Parker's brother, Ray Parker Jr. And no, we never. No, our act was made up in such a way where if we'd have broke it down like Cameo, it would have left a lot of empty spots. We had full horn section. We had the Detroit Symphony violin section. It was.
How many projects did you guys do?
That was our only one. But we have another one in the can. I just never pulled it out.
Never. Okay.
We had another one in the can, but we had another record deal coming up, but in all honesty, we hadn't got paid for the first one, so we were not going to commit to A&M, but we had a real good run. We could have did more had we had the tour support that the company actually gave us. It just didn't get to the band. I'll put it like that. I ain't gonna name it.
What year was that? What year was that project?
That project was 79. It came out in 1979.
Okay, so it seemed like, because you mentioned A&M, so right after, it seemed like after your situation with A&M, was that with A&M?
No, we were with Infinity, MCA. Yeah, and they wanted us to change to A&M because A&M had just dropped LTD. They kept Jeffrey Osborne and his brother, but they dropped the band.
Right.
And they wanted them to do a solo thing. They didn't need the band, so they needed A&M needed another big band. And we were.
And they signed. I was thinking you, but I think they signed Atlantic Star at the time.
I don't know. After we turned down that deal, they kind of blacklisted us. So we kind of broke off and went our separate ways. And I went with Carlos Santana's production, and then I did some stuff with Marvin Gaye until he passed, and just kind of floated around to different groups doing background singers for different acts, right. just to make that money, because in my family, music is not just an art form that we do; it's a lifestyle that we live.
Right.
We don't have any other jobs, and so we have to make sure we make our money. So I have to go where the money is. Sometimes the money's hardly ever in Detroit, but sometimes it's in Detroit on the events level. If you do events, the money's there. Club dates, no, but the events, yes, the money is there big time. Also, if it gets weak here, I'll go to LA. I'll go to wherever it's hot at. I go to Japan, I'll go to Indonesia, I'll go to China, wherever, the money's at, that's where I'm at. If the money's there, you got a product you pushing in Europe, you got to go there and do it.
So are you saying, well, both of you, the question is directed to you as well, Lavel. So would you say that displaying your musical talents in other countries is more forgiving than the U.S.?
I believe.
Actually, I'm saying that here, I'm just a regular guy that sings in a band. In London and Japan, I'm a freaking rock star. Okay, right. Wow, it's like that, and rock star financially speaking.
In the U.S., the music scene is more catered to teenagers, like 13 and 14.
If the U.S., the scene has been for the last, I don't know how many years. U.S. is top 40, flat out.
Yeah, it's kind of flavor of the week.
Top 40. If you're not top 40, popular music, you don't have it.
I don't know today's music, and I'm not trying to get acquainted with it. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not for today's music. I'm for old school R&B all the way. Cause
baby, back in the day,
I mean,
we had categories. You could turn on, if you didn't want to hear hip hop, you can listen to jazz. You could turn to jazz. You could turn to pop music. You could turn to R&B. You could turn to country. We don't have that anymore. It's all rap and popular music.
It's noise.
That's it.
It's all noise to me.
In the United States. In the United States. But when you get over to Europe, they still buy records in Europe. Okay.
Yeah.
What?
They still use vinyl.
They have records.
No way.
They buy vinyl. They buy CDs. They read books. They have a book. They have books on every other corner. They got bookshops.
Yeah, there's like an appreciation for old school soul music. Where actually
that is so
R&B and soul music is extremely popular.
Right.
Extremely popular.
And that's why I need to say that with this show, we only have a few minutes to go, but I need to let it be known. We are sponsored by DetroitHeartRadio.com. And what you're just speaking of is the reason why DetroitHeartRadio.com is platformed that way. Because now it's not just about the popular music. R&B is still, in the game. Smooth jazz is still in the game. We still have my generation, your generation that are looking for that type of music, and that's who we're trying to reach out to.
Mm-hmm.
You can go to Detroit Heart Radio and you can turn on and get your smooth jazz, your R&B and soul, your hip hop.
Yeah, I like that.
During a particular time of the day. On the weekends, we have old school, Motown old school on Sunday mornings. We have hip hop during later in the evening, but we also have in between those two, we have R&B and soul. We just recently changed to Sunday all day jazz because it was a need. We having people ask, well, do you play jazz? We don't hear any jazz music. So
yeah,
it wasn't, we just made a change for Sundays and dedicated to those. And I have learned a lot about how many jazz artists there is. There have to be a whole lot more than me listening to R&B and hip hop.
It's a whole lot.
I have never seen so much until I started doing programming on Sundays. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, wow, this is really amazing. And if I'm correct me if I'm right, isn't that how music really began? Not just with rock, but also jazz.
Yeah, jazz is that's American music. That's American music.
Mm-hmm.
That's us. And the crush jazz. You're crushing the American way, because jazz was invented by Americans. That's one of our musical claims to fame.
Jazz, blues
also.
Yeah, and
blues opened the gateway for rock.
And I'm going to go as far as to say rock and roll too. I mean, you got to think Chuck Berry and God rest his soul, Little Richard just passed, but those are like Little Richard would tell you, I'm the founder.
Yes,
I'm the creator.
He sure was, and he is.
He told everybody all the time.
There will never be another one. There will never be another one. I don't care how much they try. There will never.
Not like him.
No.
But so I think you're right. Jazz and blues. That's kind of where.
That is American music. Okay.
They're like the parents of R&B and the grandparents of. Hip hop and all of that, but
country.
Don't leave out country.
Country and Western is really just R&B, with six string guitar, whatever that little sound is. But it's just twang on it. But I think
all those British rock bands and stuff like that.
Yeah,
they do their homework. They do their homework on American Black blues artists.
It's all just a fusion. Everything is a fusion of jazz and blues and rock, and a poetry started the hip hop, and because all they did was took old school rhythms and loops and then rapped on top of it or put
basically.
And then they started using jazz. At one point,
they took old soul music and turned it over.
But guys, we got less than a minute.
I got some last words. So first of all, of course, I'm Clarissa Yvonne Show, sponsored by Detroit Hot Radio. It is a pleasure to have you all as a guest as we slowly get back on track with talking to everyone. I learned something new every day about the music industry, and I can't say that I sit well with some of these stories. So many artists that should be a lot further than what they are right now. But I guess that's something Detroit is going to have to do, because we known for our music, just like we known for our the auto industry. We know we Motown, and a lot of people think Motown is dead, and but it's not. So I guess that's something that we just gonna have to let the world know that we are still here. There are still some good artists out here.
Oh, they know, honey. They know.
Let's do it. I mean, we just need to keep that going.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for joining us. We
Thank
really
you, Clarissa,
appreciate it.
Andrea. Thank you so much, babe.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
It's been a blast.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Bye, baby.
Woo! We feeling so much good.